Hi everyone, this is Koinzell here. So finally, the Ayaka banner details have been released. It's actually, the leak was exact. There's Yanfei, Ningguan, and Chongyun, and of course Ayaka. So let's talk about this banner itself. I'll spend a couple minutes to talk in detail. So Yanfei, a decent pyro DPS, especially if you need a main pyro DPS, she's not too bad in terms of being able to constantly apply pyro. But she's still not as smooth as say Hu Tao in terms of damage and gameplay style. After all, she's a catalyst player, catalyst user. But she's honestly not too bad, and personally, she's the only character that I don't have C6 of, so I will pull until I get C6 Yanfei. And we'll see how many Ayaka we get in the meantime, in the process. Ningguan is to me one of the best 4-star DPS that's almost like a 5-star level type of DPS. So she's definitely worth pulling if you're looking to build a Joe DPS team. She's like the best Joe DPS character there is right now. And Chongyun, of course, always good in terms of being able to do the cryo enabling, cryo comps, enabling cryo comps like cryo Keqing for example, and even cryo Rosaria. And then you have Ayaka, which is everyone's waifu this is the waifu that everyone has been waiting for forever. But based on the recent posts, it seems that people are starting to thinking of skipping her. Maybe the hype has died down and people are looking forward to other characters like, for example, the Electro Constellations, right? But let's talk about whether or not it's worthwhile to pull for, say, example, C1, C2 Ayaka. So for that, I will have to go to Honey Hunter and we look at the constellations of Ayaka. C1 Ayaka basically, when her normal charge attacks deal cryo damage to opponents, has a 50% chance of decreasing the elemental skill by 0.3 seconds. This effect occurs once every 0.1 second. So effectively, C1 is meant for you to be able to use your elemental skill earlier. Elemental skill cooldown is 10 seconds. So by allowing you to use your elemental skill earlier, what it means is that it does give you the ability to use your burst earlier. So that is what C1 is for. I will personally see C1 as a slight increase in your DPS in the sense that you get to use your elemental skill more. But the key thing is really getting more energy for your elemental burst. Now C2. C2 is really good for her elemental burst. It unleashes 2 more smaller ones, each dealing 20%. So effectively that's a 40% increase, but only on big mobs. Because it's the 2 smaller sticky noto is on the left and right of the main one. So if you're hitting small mobs, it may not necessarily hit. Okay, and C3 increases the level of the burst, which is really good. C4 decreases defense of opponents damaged by her elemental burst. So you'll see that C2, 3, 4 are all about boosting her elemental burst. Are they absolutely necessary? Not really, honestly speaking. Not really. She will work well even at C0 if you look at her first 4 constellations. But if let's say you are focused on getting as much damage as possible from her burst without spending way too much, like for a small spender, C2 is okay. C2 is a fine place to spot. Personally, I would stop at C3 or C4. That's for me. Unless her C6 proves to be really broken. Also, what her C6 does is basically increases her charge attack buff every 10 seconds. Charge attack every 10 seconds by almost 3 times. And her elemental skill is not that great, so C5 is not fantastic. C4, let's say if you're doing a pure, you are relying on her for her burst damage, then up to C4 is good. But not necessarily necessary. It does not change any of her gameplay style at all. The thing about Ayaka's constellations, they don't really change her gameplay style at all. Okay, so that's one thing to take note. They do not change her gameplay style, so C0 Ayaka is fine, which is why most likely I'm going to pull for a C0 Ayaka on my sub account, my F2P account. On my main account, I will pull just for Yanfei, and then we'll see what we can build with the Ayaka. Alright, so that is for Ayaka in terms of her analysis on whether or not you need to go further than C0 for her. Generally speaking, I would say no, you don't really need more than C0 for her. if you really want more, then yeah, you can go up to C4 for her burst dependent builds. But C2 is okay. It's a fine place to stop. And C0 is an even better place to spot if you are saving up for Yomiya and Bell, right? So technically speaking, if you are close to soft, if you are very very close to soft PT and guarantee, this is fine to pull for Ayaka, which is the exact scenario that my sub account, F2P account is in. Alright, so enough about the character banner. Let's talk about the weapon banner. So weapon banner wise, honestly speaking, 4-star weapons, at the first glance of the 4-star weapons, this is not a good banner. Why? Because you got the Favonius series. There's Favonius Sword, Lance, and Codex, Sacrificial Great Sword, and Stringless. Stringless is actually a pretty nice weapon for Venti. It's nice for Fisher as well. Sacrificial Great Sword, I think the only character that really gets any use out of it is Xingqiu. There are Chongyin builds that use Sacrificial Great Sword, but I personally don't recommend it. And as for the Favonius weapons, they generally speaking aren't that great, but given that the meta is seemingly switching towards like spamming burst, it is possible that these Favonius weapons may become more popular. But it's hard to tell until we really move into their meta. But just for a maybe good, it's not worth pulling, right? Now, Skyward Spine. Skyward Spine is, honestly to me, I don't understand the hate towards this weapon. I actually think this is a very good weapon for, this is like the best, to me, in my opinion, this is the best sub-DPS weapon. For sub-DPS characters that are reliant on their burst, for example, Xiangling, Rosaria, I am actually switching my single piece of Skyward Spine across the two of them. I'm always switching between the two of them. I really like Skyward Spine for them. It increases ER as the substat. It also gives crit rate, which is really nice for sub DPS characters. And this generally speaking just enables me to spam actually it's her for both Rosaria and Xiangling's burst a lot more frequently. So I really don't think this is a bad 5-star weapon per se. I mean, this is in the scenario where, let's say you are trying for Misfeeder Reforge, and you end up getting Skyward Spine. Now, then I'm trying to console you to say that Skyward Spine is actually not too bad. To me, it is my favorite weapon for pole arm sub DPS characters like Rosaria and Xiangling. Now, Misfeeder Reforge, I actually think that this weapon is even better than from Keqing and Ganyu, because if you notice the description of this weapon, it lasts for the second step lasts for 10 seconds. The step where you get from casting Elemental Burst, it lasts for 10 seconds. Ganyu's skill Elemental Burst cooldown is 20 seconds. Keqing's is 12 seconds. So Keqing has a much lower downtime on the second step, which in turn means the third step, right? Because once you get your second step, after you cast your Elemental Burst, your third step will also be in effect, and you just need to use your normal attack, and all 3 steps will be there. So I actually think that this weapon seems to be even better for Keqing than Ganyu. Nevertheless, I will pull a R5 for this, so I can switch between Keqing and Ayaka. Don't think there will be a scenario I will use both of them together, so I don't think I need more than one of this weapon fully built. So anyway, once Inazuma goes live, once 2.0 goes live, I will definitely do a stream on this, and you guys can check it out. I'll do playtests on the new weapons and character as well. Assuming that we are able to get Inazuma talent materials from the new bundle packages, which I will talk about in the next section of this video. So weapon banner, pull or no pull, it's kind of a skip actually. If you're an F2P player, it's kind of a skip, because these aren't great, this is okay, this is good, this is strong, this is easily the best DPS, sword DPS for elemental characters, but it's costly. And Epitomized Path only helps wheels, it doesn't help F2P players. So I don't want to be the one telling you to pull for weapon banner when it's still so scamish. But personally, I will pull for a R5 Misfeeder Reforge. That's me. Okay. So if you want to see how this weapon works, feel free to watch my stream on regarding this. Okay. I want to talk about the events. So first session of the event really is just talking about the 2 banners we've already talked about. I think everyone knows that we are getting a free battle here, right? Thunder Sojourn event. But this event is split into 4 ads, so most likely we'll only be able to get her either on ad 2 or ad 3, my guess is. And then you have Lost Riches for you to get this silly as a pet. So my previous one was the gold one, so I'm very keen to get the purple, which is the Viola, the new pet. And then story quest. Now the only thing I want to talk about the story quest is that the Akon quest is actually dependent on the Ayaka story quest and Yumiya story quest to unlock chapter 2. Maybe that's the reason why as of now there is no story key to unlock at all. You do not require a story key to unlock. And then you have the test run. All 4 characters are available for test run, so that's nice. That means we get a 15,000 Mora, 15k Mora as well from the 4th character to test. Okay, so this is the bundle I was talking about. If we can get Inazuma talent from this, then you will see all the streamers and wheels being able to test and get their Ayaka out. Ayaka and the weapon out almost on day 1 or day 2. Of course, obviously we still need the weapon essential materials, right? We need the Inazuma weapon essential materials, so that will make a difference as well. Unfortunately, my guess is I probably won't be able to fully build Ganyu on day 1 because I always end up using up my fragile raising instead of saving them because of the way raising refill works. I always end up using them instead of saving them. I wanted to save them, but I couldn't because of how fast I was spamming the raising refill. But nevertheless, there is Battle Pass. Battle Pass will give us fragile raising as well. So yeah, let's see how it goes. And I really like that the Battle Pass gives you Inazuma materials replacing the monster ones, which means that we'll get Inazuma materials even before the Liyue materials. So that's very nice. Okay, anyway, that is the end of the 2 banners as well as a quick run through on the event previews and the new bundles, etc. So final TLDR conclusion is pull for Ayaka if you like her. She's actually not too bad of a DPS, although I don't think she can match up to Ganyu, but she's not too far away if you put her in a build comp. But she's definitely not as flexible as Ganyu, because she still needs to use her alternate sprint, and then she gets a cryo infusion that is melee. Ganyu doesn't have any single condition. All she needs to do is enter aim mode and charge and shoot to constantly dish out cryo damage. So it doesn't make a difference for most content, but when you're playing challenges where, for example, your stamina drops to 0 really fast, then Ayaka won't be able to get her infusion, right? But Ganyu doesn't. So Ganyu is broken anyway. So yeah, if you really want to save for Ganyu, you can do so. What I'll say is Ayaka is really not too bad. But I know a lot of people are skipping for her based on posts, so let's see how that goes. And personally, I will pull for C6 Yanfei and see how many constellations of Ayaka I get till then, and then we play and test her out before we deciding further on her constellations. Weapons, I will pull for R5, but for F2P players, unless you really want this sword, otherwise I don't recommend trying because the 4-star weapons aren't that great. Yep. Ningguang is nice though on the character banner. Alright, thanks everyone for watching. If you like the content, remember to like the video and click subscribe for more. I'll see you guys next video, yeah? Bye!